Bienvenue, sexy bastards. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 22. It's all the twos of Stace and Barry in the morning. It's the fucking cliffhanger episode where something cool's gonna happen. I hope. I think Barry should have prepared something because I haven't. I've had a bit of a week, y'all. How's it going? I'm Stace, the Stace part of the Stace and Barry, and that's Barry.
That is me. I like the way you got all street at the end. It's a bit of a week, y'all. I was like, yeah, get down with your bad self, getting all street.
Thanks. I am so cool. I'm quite glad we're not doing a video recording this week because I am in my pajamas and I've got a wonky fringe and and also I've got a slightly dead left arm because I had my flu jab the other day, like a good little gill. But now my arm's like, ow. So, yeah. How are you, Barry?
I am doing splendiferously. There's a word. Take it, own it, live it.
Is it a word?
Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah. It really winds you up because I keep saying, it's because we're getting closer to Christmas, for some reason they seem to up the amount of like perfume and aftershave adverts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find those adverts really funny because they're so shit.
And you can't smell them?
No, so I'm not quite sure what you're trying to sell me, but I keep either going on random things, like I'll go, it's the doorbell, live it, smell it, own it, be it. It's just like, what are you doing?
The only smelly item advert that I ever remember is the most recent batch of ones for J'adore, because it's got quite a lot of Charlize Theron's side boob in it.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
I'll buy that. I don't mind. No, I won't. I don't use perfume. Look, I've got a scent of my own, and I think it's great, and I'm sticking with that. Also, perfume gives me a horrendous rash. So, if you're thinking of sending me a Christmas present, don't send me any perfume. Also, how did you get my address? What the fuck?
Feel free to send me High Karate aftershave. I don't have to do it anymore, but I always love the sound of that name. High Karate aftershave.
That does sound brilliant.
Yeah.
Is it going to make you just start kicking ass and taking names?
I remember it from when I was a kid. It had sort of Chinese writing on the bottle, and it's like High Karate. It's probably vaguely racist actually as a aftershave.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, yeah.
Thinking about it. Scratch that. I'll just have a Christmas jumper. Don't worry about that. Yeah, don't worry about the aftershave. We'll just leave that.
Oh my God, Barry! I've got a Christmas jumper update for you.
Ooh.
I've bought a new one. It's fucking Baby Yoda.
Nice.
It's fucking Baby Yoda. I'm so excited. I don't know when it's going to come because it was one of those ones that's like, hey, we'll dispatch sometime in November, I guess. And then you're like, but there's a lockdown, mate. And they're like, don't worry about it, bruv. And I'm like, oh, cool. But yeah, I'm eagerly awaited. I'm like Scott Pilgrim sitting at the doorstep, just staring at the letterbox, which is a foolish thing to do because I'd have to get up to actually answer the door to the postman because it won't fit through our letterbox. But anyway, exciting times. I've got too many Christmas jumpers.
I've got a handful of Christmas jumpers. I might invest in a new one this year.
I love a good Christmas jumper because here's the thing, right? I'm always cold. And and because I'm always cold, it's great to just climb into a jumper. It's fun times, and there's so many good nerdy ones around now. I've got a Doctor Who jumper, I've got a Batman jumper, I've got a Spider-Man jumper, I've got a Princess Peach jumper. I'm so cool, guys.
You want to talk cool? Let's talk moose onesie and a bear onesie because that's what I wear in the mornings. Apologies to my neighbours. Sometimes you see me in the garden when I go to let the cat out. I'm worried one day I'm going to get shot by a tranquilizer or something because someone thinks Bigfoot seen in Northampton.
I worry about onesies because they feel like they would be the coziest, most comfortable thing in the world. But then for a lady in particular, you'd have to basically take the whole thing off to go pee. and that would be cold and terrible, especially if you're a lady like me who doesn't wear bras. Because then you're just like, it's middle of December and you're sitting with your tits out on the toilet. Hey, should we do a segment?
Let's do a segment. Fucking hell.
Oh, God. What segment are we doing?
I'm still getting over the fact that a perfectly innocent comment about onesies led to a comment about getting tits out. So
Tits out on
yeah.
the toilet.
Yeah. That's the sort of highbrow podcast you tuned into.
I love how sometimes people at work are like, Stace, you do a lot of podcasts. What are they about? Shall I have a listen? And I'm like, God, no. Please don't ever look at them.
For the love of all that is holy, do not listen.
Please don't. Do you want to start with a little pick of the fortnight, shall we?
Let's start with a pick of the fortnight.
I'll let you go first because I've done a lot of talking.
Okay. So, I've kind of got my pick of the fortnight is I've kind of got 1.5 picks. I don't know if that even makes sense. So let's just go for it. The reason why I'm saying that is because my pick for the pick of the fortnight, I can't remember if this was my pick last time or if this was a Saturday morning cartoon, but I don't really care because I kind of need it would be wrong for this not to be my pick. So this is Gravity Falls again.
Yeah.
The reason being this time around is I don't believe I told anyone. I don't believe we told anyone what Gravity Falls was actually about. We were just so busy going, it's great, but didn't actually tell people what
Mabel's
it
me,
was.
it's so good.
Yeah. Loads of people just going, who the fuck's Mabel? What's Gravity Falls? I have no idea what these two people are talking about. And also, I have now finished the entire run of Gravity Falls.
Me too.
So, you watched it again, didn't you?
I watched the whole thing again because you mentioned it, and then I was like, shit, that's a thing I can rewatch, so I just did it.
Yeah. So, first off, I will read the aforementioned blurb, sponsored by Wikipedia. Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Welcome to Wikipedia. So the blurb is the series follows the adventures of Dipper Pines and his twin sister Mabel, who are sent to spend the summer with their great uncle or Grunkle, which I didn't realise till many episodes later that's what Grunkle was. Grunkle Stan in Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls, Oregon, a mysterious town full of paranormal forces and supernatural creatures. The kids help Stan run the mystery shack, the mystery shack, not the mystery sack. The tourist trap which he owns while also investigating the local mysteries. I feel that kind of sums it up.
It does.
And obviously, as the seasons go on, even more weird things happen, and you begin to realize there's a much larger story going on than we first realized. So when we last spoke, cliffhanger. When we last spoke, I had just finished watching season 1 and really enjoyed it. But I'd said, I'd seen a few things coming, and everyone had made this big song and dance about it. And I was really looking forward to getting into season 2 because I didn't really know what to expect. Oh my days.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Didn't expect that. I would like to give he probably doesn't listen, but if you're listening, I do a monster slap.
Just cause, I suppose. It is Dave.
He did drop a spoiler in.
He did, a clanging spoiler.
To be fair, it was something that I thought might be coming anyway. And to be honest, it didn't. There were so many other big reveals and twists and turns that it kind of paled, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of things that happened in it where I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? No. I remember pausing and going, what the fuck is going on? Because I haven't got a clue now. What?
Mate, I have been sitting on that so hard since you started watching this. Because I know, like, I am a person who doesn't generally see things coming in films and TV. I'm not that smart. I don't pick up on the little things. So sometimes I'll be watching something and Rich will be like, oh, that's definitely his sister or whatever. And I'll be like, how the fuck did you get there? And then it'll turn out it'll be right. Like, geez Louise, the first time I saw that, I was like, hold up, what? What am I looking at? Oh, mate. I just like as soon as you text me that you'd seen that one, I was like, yes, yes.
I wanted to be like, well, I switched from wanting to be Mabel to wanting to be Dipper. I kind of came down more on the Dipper side because obviously he was kind of scratching that Indiana Jonesy itch for me. But like, I can't even. There was just when it and then when it all goes to shit as well, I was just like, this this show. I had to keep. See, I'm not even making sense. There's like so many shows where like it's aimed at kids, and it sounds like I'm dissing kids, and I'm not. But I had to keep reminding myself that this is a show aimed at kids,
Yeah,
and not in that kind of like, I can't believe they're letting kids watch this violence. I'm like, but this show is works on so many different levels. The storytelling in this show is like second to none because they managed to kind of still make their episodes until you get really into the second season relatively episodic,
yeah.
and yet you know there's something else that's going on, but it still manages to be really really funny, really sweet, and then all of a sudden it will just hit you with like real emotional like punches.
What I love about it as well is that it's one of those rare like children's things that doesn't hold back on being quite scary at times. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
episode Sock Opera. I don't really want to spoil it, but like obviously that title kind of gives away to you which one I'm talking about. And there's like bits of that were like really distressing, and I was like, fucking hell, yeah, this is a kid's like this is on Disney. Like
yeah.
what?
And also the big bad again. I'm gonna spoil it. Flipping terrifying.
Nightmare, absolute nightmare. Woo, baby.
And I think as well the fact that it's this sort of small town, and what I realised by the end of the two seasons is that I knew everyone in the town
Yeah,
and
yeah,
gave a shit about them.
yeah. Do you want to hear something that I think is genuinely amazing? And I like when I found this out when I watched it the first time, I genuinely couldn't believe it. So the guy who created it, Alex Hirsch, also does some of the voices. So he's Grunkle Stan, Seuss, and Bill Cipher. Like,
Really?
what a fucking variety of performance! Yes, he's
Wow.
genuine, and he's like a handful of other people as well, like background voices and stuff, like Mayor Befufflefumpter and Befufflefumpter. What a fantastic name! And I think he's Old Man McGucket as well, actually, if I'm remembering rightly. It's a phenomenal show. Like I cannot recommend it enough to everyone.
And
Because it, like you say, I mean, yeah, it is aimed at kids, but it is. There's so much to enjoy for anyone of any age, really.
yeah,
Except this, why has there got to be a spider episode in everything? Why?
I know. I know.
Why? Fuck you, everyone.
I know.
Mandalorian, you shit biscuit. Have you watched that yet?
No, no, no.
Oh, yeah.
Might just be steering clear of it and just the lost episode.
Just ask someone for a spoiler of what happens at the end because that bit's quite important. But other than that, yeah,
Okay.
don't worry about it.
Okay. I think like sort of going back to Gravity Falls. I think the other thing that I really loved about one of the things I loved the most about the show is that it stuck the landing. Of the ending. The ending. I would generally was in tears at several points during the last couple of episodes. Also, as well, I'm a big sucker for like people just going, I'm not going to take this line down.
Oh God, honestly.
The show had so much heart, and actually as a show aimed at kids as well, there's so many like great lessons for kids to take away.
Yeah.
In that show. But also, you did 2 seasons. You did 2 great seasons. You told your story, and you got the fuck out of Dodge. More shows need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like for people who were watching it when it came out because I'm pretty sure there was like an accidental gap of like 2 years in it.
Oh,
just oh my God, kick you in the crotch nightmare times.
oh,
But like, yeah, it's one of those things where my heart wants more, but my brain knows that no, they did what they came to do. It would just be ridiculous for there to be more. Like, it doesn't make sense based on what happened and such.
I think they could do. I suppose what I mean by like they tell the story and they got out and not do any more is you can't do any more of that story.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of other stories you could tell in that. I think the world building they did is phenomenal, and I think because of that, there's so much that you could do. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
With a different story, you know, and you can still have the big adventure and stuff like that. But I just think that story, which was effectively like Dipple and Mabel's story, I think you told it really well. And I think if you keep going back to that well and unraveling it, I think you start to lose what was so great about it. And I think a lot of shows like that, the reason why they become these kind of iconic shows that people talk about for years to come is a lot of is for the most part because they're short runs or
they're not outstaying their welcome.
Exactly, yeah. They haven't outstayed their welcome. Because even like I love Buffy, but there were times you could have ended Buffy, and I think even though it's still a phenomenal show and people still talk about it, I think they may well have talked about it even more.
Yeah.
And there's certainly other shows, Supernatural.
I was thinking that, or Dexter.
Yeah.
Should have cut that one off at the pass. Come on, lads.
If Supernatural had gone out when it was originally going to go out, which was in season 5, that for me would have been, you wouldn't have topped that. That show was fantastic. But they're now just finishing it, and I think it's season 15.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So.
Was that your half? Because you talked about it quite.
I was just going to say, I didn't see it's 8:30. Just like the Gravity Falls special. I was properly crestfallen when it finished. Like when the credits were rolling, I was like, I don't know what to do now. What am I going to do? Send me a sign.
Especially because they have those like lovely different credits at the end of the very last episode.
Yeah.
That were like, it was like looking back on the memories of the summer, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah. I was like, what am I going to do now? And then, you know, like most of these streaming channels always bring up suggested shows to watch next.
Yeah.
The new DuckTales popped up.
Yes.
And I was like,
do it.
Well played, Disney. Well played. So I've watched the first 2 episodes of DuckTales.
Oh, brilliant.
Right. And I love Gravity Falls. But I have such a place in my heart for like DuckTales. And like I'm like, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. It feels like I've crossed over the road from Gravity Falls and straight into like another place, which I love.
Yeah, David Tennant is such a wonderful Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, it's just
so
great.
Good.
I was really worried because when it started, they did the DuckTales thing. They did the theme. But my favourite bit is when it goes, danger, look, and it goes off into another chorus. I always love that bit.
Yeah.
And they didn't have it in the first episode. I was like, oh, this is a bit shit. And then in the second episode, they did the full one. And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm loving it. Webby's awesome.
Oh, I love everybody, but Webby and Dewey and Launchpad are my favourites. Like, they're just Dewey in particular. I just can't. Like, there's a bit in the first episode when I knew that he was going to be my favourite, which was they're all sitting in the car and Scrooge like agrees to let them stay in the house, and Dewey does this like victory roll out of the window across the top of the car and back in the window the other side, and I was like, I love him. I love him. He's perfect. It helps that he's voiced by Ben Schwartz as well, who's wonderful. So yeah. Do we have time for a real quick pick of the fortnight from me, or do you want to do your other one?
No, you do your pick of the fortnight.
Okay. Well, I as I said in my improv theme tune at the start, I've had a week, y'all, and so I needed a bit of a pick me up. And yesterday, Netflix released a new mini series of a sketch show called Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, which Auntie Donna is an Australian sketch comedy group that I'd never heard of before. Until they were on an episode of the Comedy Bang Bang podcast. which is hosted by one of the producers of this sketch show.
Right.
And they were really fucking funny on it, like just totally absurd. So I was like, maybe I'll give this Auntie Donna's Big Old House a fun a whirl. Oh my god, it's so stupid and ridiculous. I love it. It's like a combination of just like stupid like sitcom parody and like ridiculous absurd sketches. And like, you know, sometimes when you find something insanely funny and you can't even explain to people why because it's so fucking silly. like this is one of those things, but like almost immediately me and Rich were like properly crying laughing, and I was like, oh, it's nice to be crying, you know, for a good reason today. So, yeah, that's my pick of the fortnight. Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun. One of my favourite bits, which won't work on the podcast at all, but I'm going to tell you anyway, was a bit where one of them tells the other one to stop being such a... And then he pauses so that he can, like, really smugly do that air square thing. So he's, like, implying that he's a square, but then he just goes, cunt. I love it. Plus, you know, Australian accents are fun, aren't they? I think. So yeah. Okay. There you go. Do we have another segment in us?
We could do really quickly, and then we can both get the heck out. Trev, can you just get off my back? So Trev the cat says hassling me. Just, dude, I'm recording here. God, march on, dude. Yeah, we could do a quick musical musings.
Okay. What's your musical musing be?
My musical musing is the Shadow. I should start that again. So,
yeah, give that another whirl, mate.
My musical music. My musical music is from a very important film to me, which is The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin. Have you seen The Shadow?
I haven't.
Yeah, it's a cracking. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but because it's obviously pulp adventure and all that, I absolutely loved this film back in the day. Yeah, so this is from the Shadow soundtrack, and it's called Poppy Fields, which is the main title, and it's just such an atmospheric piece of music, and it's kind of like the Shadows theme, sort of going through the film, and it's done by good old dependable Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh, nice. I was having a bit of a Rambo sesh yesterday.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a cracking score, that is.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
That fucking thing, because I've not seen Rambo at all.
Any of them?
I've seen the latest one, which I didn't like very much. You know, the one where he does like a Home Alone set of traps under his house.
No.
But
no, I didn't. I won't watch that one.
Yeah, it ain't very good. Yeah, it ain't very good, mate. But Duncan made me watch an episode of Rambo: The Force of Freedom cartoon, and I was like, why is the music in this cartoon so fucking great when everything else about it is shit? And then I realised it's because they used music from the movie. So it was like Jerry Goldsmith's soundtrack while these like terrible animated Rambos are running around going pew, 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 like, oh, dreadful. Anyway.
It is a crack. Probably. I was trying to think which is my favourite. Rambo 3 is quite a good score. But they all are. Yeah.
He's a good one, Jerry Goldsmith. Excellent. My musical musing is Shazam, which I have to shout because it's written in capital letters and it has an exclamation point. Which is the main theme from Shazam.
Shazam!
Yeah. Have you? I assume you've seen Shazam. I don't know why I assume that.
Never make assumptions, Stace, because that makes an arse out of you and me.
Does that mean you haven't seen Shazam?
I haven't seen Shazam.
Wow. Well, Shazam is one of the rare good DC movies. Oh. Shazam's one of those films that isn't perfect. I'll give it, you know, what film is, but it just revels in its comic bookiness. So it's just all about having fun, and you know, it really enjoys itself in its comic booky it embraces the ridiculousness of superheroes, and it's all about like family and having fun and doing the right thing, and it's just a lovely, funny, brilliant film. Zach Levi's clearly having the time of his fucking life in it. It's wonderful. But this is the soundtrack is by a chap called Benjamin Wallfish.
Right.
Wallfish, don't know. Anyway, and the theme is very much, you can tell what they've aimed for is Superman, but a bit less serious.
Right.
So it's very sort of like pomp and circumstance, and it's like very brass heavy, but it's also like super rousing and super fun. And yeah, it's just like, it's one of those songs that if you put it on whilst you're watching a webinar, it really did make that webinar much more fun. Says the girl who did exactly that whilst watching a fundraising webinar 2 days ago. Yeah, so Shazam! There you go.
Shazam!
Shazam! Why do you sound like the ghost of Shazam?
I don't know. I was trying to sound like dramatic, like Shakespearean, and just came off sounding like I was a ghost for some reason. Shazam!
I do like it though, and hey, if you want to listen to those tunes and all the other stuff that me and Barry have recommended, except a couple of songs that for some reason aren't on Spotify, have a look in the show notes and there'll be a link to our Spotify playlist. Babs.
Boom! Segue. Nice. Like it. Buy
Baby.
it. Live it. Own it. Smell it.
I want to smell everything. Oh, I love when they have those adverts for perfumes where it's just like, I don't know, somebody like swimming in the sea and you can just see their eyes like bubbling out of the water, and then it's like, pomme de terre for men, and you're like, what? How's he wearing perfume? He's underwater. None of this makes any sense, and I still don't know what it smells like. I hate perfume ads. They really rile me up. Merry Christmas.
This isn't the time for me to say I'm bringing out my new eau de toilette, Nuge, for men. Nuge.
Oh, well, it's for men, so I can't play anyway.
Nuge for everyone. Nuge.
Nuge, put on and puff am.
Be it, live it, be Nuge.
Smell Nuge. Like what? Lovely. Hey, on that note, if you would like to get in touch with me and Barry, you can do us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour and at Geek Syndicate. You can send us an email, staceandbarry@gmail.com. I almost forgot it then because I very rarely actually do this part of it. And also, we've both got coffee.com shoppy placey things where you can give us money, but you have to decide which one of us you want to have money because we don't have a joint one. So you can
good. Yeah, yes. Ooh.
Yeah, rivalries. Coffee.com/Stacey's Parlour or coffee.com/Geek Syndicate. I assume I didn't check. Should have looked it up beforehand, baby.
It's probably right.
Excellent. And have a lovely Saturday or whatever day it is that you're listening to this, you beautiful, beautiful people, and take care of one another and yourself. And I don't know, treat yourself to a chocolate bar or something. I love you. Bye.
Bye all. Shazam.
Shazam.
I don't know why I said it like that.
I love it. The Ghost of Shazam. It's a haunted podcast.
I have no idea why I've said it like that.
Never change, Barry.
I'm going to. I love you too.